Welcome to the second episode of the Mason-Dixon Sports Podcast. Join us as we discuss Steelers training camp, Pirates baseball, Jennerstown and nationwide racing, and the Olympics. Joining me as co-hosts are Adam, Jason, and myself, Justin. Alright, first topic of discussion for this lovely evening. On Thursday of training camp, at the preseason scrimmage with the Lions, Antonio Brown almost got kicked out of practice for unsportsmanlike conduct to an official. Unfortunately for Antonio, this isn't his first bit of trouble this year. It's the first on-field trouble, but as pictures have surfaced on the internet of his lovely parking job at one of the local clubs, not far from St. Vincent College in Latrobe, parking in the handicap space. Adam and Jason, thoughts on this?
Adam, would you like to start?
Sure. I think it's a big deal over nothing. It's preseason. Antonio really shouldn't be worrying about it. I mean, what's complaining about calls in preseason going to get you? It's just going to get you, the league looking down on you for the rest of the year because this ref took it to the league and said that, hey, he needs to be watched because he's bad-mouthing me and everything like that. And I also think it's on the ref, too, because, again, it's preseason, so just, both sides needed to calm down and just let it go. But to me, the biggest thing is AB should have just let it, or he should have tried to learn from it. If guys are holding you or whatever call he was complaining that he wasn't getting, he needs to keep running that same route or doing whatever and try to work on it and try to figure out how to not get held or how to work around it. That makes you a better football player.
That does, and he does got to check his attitude. He does. He straight has to check his attitude. I mean, like Justin said, parking in handicap spots, excessive celebrations. He's a jackass. He's very talented.
I get the handicap thing. Like, he shouldn't be parking in handicap spots, but that should not relate to the football field. That should be completely separate. And I understand that he celebrates, and some of it may be excessive, but again, he's playing in the National Football League, scoring touchdowns, and doing it at a very high rate and doing it very well. I would be super freaking excited too. So even, hell, the three of us play hockey in stupid little leagues in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and if we score a goal, if I could do a flip on skates, I would.
I'd pay to see that.
I'd pay to score the goal.
I mean, personally, I'm not against the celebration. This is where I think I differ with you, Jason. I'm all for the celebration. It's a game. Have fun at it. Yeah, they want to win, but if you look at these guys when they're not playing, it's not like they take everything seriously. I mean, when they're not playing football is nothing to do with their life, pretty much.
I mean, I agree with that. Have fun. It's a game that they're getting paid for it, but it's still a game. I mean, you got to have fun with it, and if, like I said, and he's scoring touchdowns in the highest professional football league that there is. So yeah, he's going to be excited.
And he's scoring a lot of them. So yeah, I mean, he has all rights to be excited. I just think he can tone it down a little bit. I mean, with that flip he did last year, he could have ended his career early.
Well, then he would have paid for it, though. That's the thing. He's taking a chance. So if he would have hurt himself, then he would have paid for it, too, by not getting paid anymore.
See, I never looked at it like that. I always look at it as, you've been there, you've done it. Act like the bigger man, make him feel worse for letting you score by not even celebrating it. Act like it was nothing.
They're going to feel bad no matter what, whether you celebrate or not. So what's it matter either way?
I can see your point.
I mean, we've all played, sports, whether it was high school or recreational or whatever, and we've all had goals or touchdowns or whatever scored on us, and whether the other team celebrated or not, we all felt shitty about it. So, and yeah, if actually for me, if the other team celebrated, we felt even shittier, and that just motivated me to work even harder. Actually, so
I can definitely see that. I mean, I'm used to when I was on the field, if the other team scored on me, it drove me nuts. If they celebrated, I'm like, wow, you're a douchebag. If they didn't celebrate, I'm like, wow, that's not going to happen again. So I guess I was motivated the other way.
and I mean, I don't disagree with that either because the way I was brought up is pretty much similar to that. Like if when I played soccer in high school, if I ever scored a goal, I just ran back to my team, gave some high fives, and then I went back to my position and was ready to keep going. But but I like to see other guys do it too. If they want to celebrate, that's their thing. That's on them. That's how they do it. So if that's what he wants to do, go right ahead.
I will give soccer guys some credit. They have some pretty neat celebrations. I will give them that. I mean, in football, you can only do so much. I mean, some of them are really ridiculous. The bowling pin thing, that's stupid. Jumping on the goalpost, which was funny at the time. I kind of felt bad for the girl that got smacked behind it, but she wasn't expecting it, and neither was he, so.
She was just collateral damage.
I mean, I know in wrestling, when I got a pin, I did a little fist pump, got up, got my hand raised. Then when you come off the mat, your teammates are all jumping on you, so. I mean, maybe it's just because I grow up like, oh yeah, I was here before, not to worry about it.
And that's the other thing is that it goes by sport though too. I've been to plenty of like wrestling matches in high school that you wrestled at and stuff like that, and you never see guys really celebrate at wrestling. But then you go to a football game and you see guys every time they score a touchdown, they're doing something. And then
you gotta remember how much we suck too.
Well, but I mean that's just the thing. It's also by sport. There's kind of like an etiquette, I guess, in sports, and football is kind of the more lenient of all the sports. So
that it definitely is.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, look at, not to bring Hawk in this, I mean, look at Ovechkin. Some of the stuff he does when he scores.
Yeah.
The fan and the stick,
Some of them are funny, though. I mean, if it's a funny one, I give him all the credit in the world. But if it's a stupid one, I just think he's an idiot. Which I think Ovechkin's an idiot to begin with. But that's off topic for today.
I think a lot of reason, like with football, why celebration is more because there's more stop and go to the game, whereas with soccer and other sports, the stop is minimum and then you're going again.
Right.
Soccer. I've just been getting into soccer. Thank you, Adam, and trying to learn it more. And it just seems like it's go, go, go. You only stop if somebody's hurt, and they make you stop till they get them off the field. Then you go again. It's crazy. Football, you go what? 15 seconds tops per play.
Moving on. So we finally got to the preseason game versus the Lions on Friday night at Heinz Field. And the Steelers making, I think, the smart move and not playing, Ben or Brown, D'Angelo Williams, who's going to be the starting running back for the first 4 games. And also injury-prone, Martise Pouncey. I think it was a very smart decision. The starters that played, they looked decent in the first drive. The defense had great pursuit of the ball carrier. Every time I was able to watch the game, every time someone got the ball, they were 2 or 3 steals wrong within a second or two. Obviously, the score didn't go their way. They lost 30-17, but it's the first preseason game.
I didn't get to see the game at all, but if it was me, I wouldn't have played any of the starters, especially not in the first preseason game. They got to start working on whittling down, who they're going to be cutting and everything. So I would have just played all the backup guys and everybody that's fighting for a spot and things like that.
I agree with you, Adam. My first half of that first game, would have been all the guys that are supposed to be my number twos. Then the third and fourth quarter would have been everybody else who's trying to fight for that third string spot in every position.
Yep.
Those are the guys I'd have played in third and fourth quarter, let them earn their spot. Then next week, maybe a drive of starters. And then once again, right back to all second string. But that's just my theory, because football is a rough and tumble sport. You got to save your best.
Yeah, I agree with that, because, I mean, look at how many times Pouncey's gotten hurt, or anybody has gotten hurt in the preseason. We've lost how many guys over the past couple years in preseason games for
Pouncey 2 years in a row.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not worth it. I mean, these guys are professionals. They should be. I didn't play football, but I think they should be able to handle game speed pretty quickly. They should be able to pick it up, after a drive or two. So give them a drive or two in the third or fourth preseason game, and then that's it, and just be ready for the season.
Coming up to game speed is harder than it sounds whenever you're going against an opponent instead of a teammate. I can vouch for that. It's a lot rougher in the game, especially in the trenches. I mean, those guys need to get a little work. I'd like to see Pouncey probably play a quarter in at least the third game. And, well, better knock on wood here, you don't get hurt. Just because the trenches are nuts. I mean, the running backs and stuff, they all know how to hit their holes. That's why they're paid the big bucks. But the hog mollies up front, they need some reps to get used to the, how do I put this nicely, the unspoken, unwritten rules in the trenches. Justin, you can vouch for them a little bit.
Not quite at the same level as you can, but yes. The only other note I have on the game itself is Landry Jones, who's most likely going to be the number 2 quarterback, played the whole first half. He had one good drive they scored on towards the end of the game, end of the half. I mean, after halftime, it was pretty much Detroit's game. Their third and fourth stringers were better than our third and fourth stringers.
I mean,
that's pretty much.
The big thing I heard about the game, and this was from listening to the radio and everything, that our Sammy Coates, who's supposed to be filling in for a wide receiver this year, he's got to step up. And from what I heard in this game, he didn't do that. He had, I think, 2 fumbles, and so it'll be interesting to see how he picks it up for the next couple preseason games.
Well, I mean, someone's going to pick it up. I mean, they lost a big hole with Martavius Bryant getting suspended for the year.
That's his own stupidity.
The other note is their big off-season signing, Darius Green, has still yet to practice due to, from all the rumors of headaches from post-concussion syndrome. I did see some articles or rumors that they may cut him, and with cutting him, try to get most of the signing bonus back that they paid him.
To me, this is a touchy subject for me because I've had a lot of concussions, and I still suffer from the effects from them. So, to me, the biggest question to me about this is whether he knew or had the symptoms whenever he, signed the contract. Because if he had the symptoms and stuff then and didn't say anything about it and went ahead and signed that contract, I think they should be able to void that contract, right now.
And I think that's where the issue's coming in, is I don't think that he was up front with this. That from everything I've seen, that he said he was fine, and the headaches weren't the issue last year. It was from dehydration or something.
And see, that's the thing though. I do understand that the headaches come and go. I mean, I can be completely fine one day, and then the next day I can have, the world's worst headache, and it can even be, just like flipping a light switch. You can be completely fine, and then all of a sudden you have a headache. So I can understand that maybe he didn't have them or whatever, but there's still other signs that he probably had that he's probably not telling them, or probably didn't tell them. Edzo, what do you think? I know you had some concussions too.
I know they put you through a doctor check before you even sign the contract. So if he passed it there, either he tipped off the doctor or something, but he signed the contract. He needs to get himself straight and get his ass on the field. That's all there is to it. Either that or he deserves to go and pay back the money he got. I mean, he signed a nice deal, and Steelers got absolutely nothing out of it. Yes, I realize there is a cap in the league, so they're going to have to eat something because of it. But, I mean, I know all about concussions. I'm just like you, been through enough of them. Get random headaches, and with my other head problems, I have trouble just coming down out of our mountain, which you've seen firsthand and got a good laugh out of.
But I mean, the other thing is though, he can't just fix it though. That's a problem with concussions, that there's nothing you can really do. Like, I mean, I finally, after how many years of having concussions, just finally got some medicine that have helped with mine and have made them subside. But that's not a guarantee to work on everybody, and everybody's symptoms are different. Everything that triggers those headaches is different in everybody. So it's just it's going to be always going to be an ongoing thing, the concussion issue. But they definitely need to, I think, get some of their money back, and cut him now and get another tight end in here and try to get him up to speed so that they're not behind.
Or at least, cut him, whatever they paid him, let him have it. He tried, he gave it a shot, and he's going to have to retire because of this. And then just give them their cap space back, so they can bring in somebody else.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm guessing the market's thin.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What do you think, Justin?
I mean, I think it comes back to if he was up front with them. I mean, with concussions, as you guys know, there's no way to detect if you're recovered from them. I mean, yeah, there's some swelling of the head, but that can be minor or not even visible for.
Yeah, the Steelers play Thursday, I believe, against the Eagles in their second preseason game, so we'll see what happens with that one. So I think we should move into the Pirates. Pirates had a pretty decent week last week. They had two series, one against the Padres, one against the Dodgers. They ended up taking 2 of 3 from both series. Last Tuesday, they beat the Padres 6-4. Wednesday, they lost to the Padres 4-0, which Jason and I were actually at that game. Thursday, Pirates beat the Padres 4-0. Friday, they flew out to play Los Angeles Dodgers. They beat them 5-1. Saturday, they lost to the Dodgers 8-4. And then last night, they put a hurting on the Dodgers 11-3. The Pirates did pretty well behind their young pitchers that they brought up. Jameson Taillon pitched on Thursday against the Padres and pitched 8 innings, shutout baseball. Looked very impressive to me. And then their other young pitcher, Chad Kuhl, pitched yesterday for them in their 11-3 win. And he has pitched 6 games for the Pirates. They have won every single game that he has pitched so far, which that's a pretty impressive stat to me. But they are currently 1.5 games back from St. Louis. They actually have the same losing record with 56 games lost as St. Louis, but St. Louis has a couple more wins right now. So they're fighting for a second wild card, and they have San Francisco coming up starting tonight.
Now, is that at San Francisco?
Yeah, at San Francisco.
I'm still disappointed in Wednesday. That's a 20-year streak broken. 20 years going to Pirates games. They've won every game I've gone to until Wednesday.
Yeah, they didn't look good at all on Wednesday. They had Ryan Vogelsong pitching. I'm not a fan of his. I wasn't when I didn't think they should have brought him in at all. I believe this was his second game back after getting hit in the face with the fastball to the face and breaking his orbital bone. He didn't look good at all. And they didn't have any offense that night either. I mean, they lost 4-0. So obviously there was no offense. They got no hit by not a very good pitcher until like the 6th or 7th inning, I believe. So
Not only that, I mean, the errors killed them. They had one earned run against them. One.
yeah.
I mean, a pitcher misses a throw to first base. That should never happen. That is as routine as it comes.
I mean, the good thing for them is during this the Dodgers series, their offense has started to come alive, especially McCutchen. He's been hitting the ball pretty well the past couple days, and a lot of guys got in on the act yesterday with Gong had a home run. Rodriguez had a 3-run home run. A couple other guys had, I think Josh Harrison had like 3 or 4 hits. So hopefully they can continue that and keep the runs coming in.
Well, it is a 162 game season, so it's or 162 game season.
Yeah, 162 games. They have 29% of the season left. And like I said, they're only a game and a half back of St. Louis, so they're still within reach. They still got a shot.
And with them being in the same division, they'll play at least 1 or 2 more series against them.
Right.
All right, Justin, got anything to add on the Pirates?
No, the only thing I even saw was when you guys went to the game, I saw them post some things on Twitter about the guy went to catch a foul ball and got notches in the face.
Yeah,
That was great.
that poor guy, he didn't even catch the ball, so I felt bad for him.
Got a free T-shirt out of it.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's a waste of nachos.
Yeah, it is. Now we sound like a bunch of fat guys. The shirt fits, right? All right, well, if we're done with the Pirates, let's move on to the good stuff. Let's move on to the racing. NASCAR actually didn't have anything in the Sprint Cup this week. The Xfinity Series was at Mid-Ohio, where they actually raced in the rain. Novak, what do you think about that one?
I mean, is this the first time that they've ever raced in the rain?
That I'm aware of, yes, but they might have done it in the past that I didn't know about.
Because
I think the Busch Nationwide has in the past before on a different road course. I want to say Mexico. I'd have to look.
I mean, it's the first time that I have witnessed them racing in the rain, and to me, excuse my language, but it looked like a shit show. I mean, it didn't look like they had any traction. So I don't know if they need better rain tires or if they were even on rain tires. Edzo, were they on rain tires?
According to what I read, yes, they were on rain tires. They had a windshield wiper, which one windshield wiper going at that speed doesn't do anything. You needed some circus music for that race. You did. And Justin, you might be thinking of Montreal, not Mexico.
Yeah, it was Montreal. And actually, it looks like it was the NASCAR guys. No, it was Nationwide.
Yeah, say NASCAR's never done a race at Montreal except for their, well, then it was Nationwide, now it's Xfinity Series. They've never raced at Mexico City that I'm aware of. That course is way too tight to put a stock car on. You can barely squeeze some of them Indy cars through the turns. So, alright, now let's move on to the local track, Jennerstown Speedway. This week, Barry Audi won the late model feature, with Matt Sever coming in second, Gary Wiltrout in third, and Jeremiah Kuntz in fourth, Brian Shipp in fifth. Then the modified feature, you had Zane Farrell getting his first win of the year, old Tommy Golick getting second place, and rookie driver just got his car 2 weeks ago, Jared Barclay, coming in third. Glad to see him do good. Then Lou Bodeye coming fourth. And then Bertie McClellan, came in fifth. Then in the street stock feature, you had Adam Kostelnik winning, with Sean Beam coming from last to second. Then Andrew Kostelnik came in third. Dustin Gursky came in fourth. Nice to see him do well after the season he has. Mel Wilt came back for a race, came in fifth. Then Jason Holder in sixth. And you move on to our class, Adam. The Fast and Furious 4 cylinders, where our boy Casey Flegel won again. Followed by Paul Koffler III, Steve Settle, Andrew Pluta, Brian Knoll, and Dave Campbell. And then you come down to the Chargers. Scott Mitchell got, I believe, his second win of the year. Second place to Tyler Friedline. Third to Steve Long, who decided to bust his Charger car out for the first time this year. Steven Sheltman came in fourth, and Frank Novak came in fifth. Adam, was there anything you saw Saturday that might have needed a little tweaking or changing?
Well, one thing I gotta say is it was nice to see Barry back out front again. It looks like they got their car figured out after a couple weeks of having some slight issues. The other thing I gotta say about the late model class is props to Gary Wiltrout. On last week or 2 weeks ago, he smashed his car pretty good. That it was it's junk. It's a junkyard car now. But he went out and bought a brand new car, tested it on Friday, and what'd you say, he came in third?
He came in third.
That's impressive, to go out and buy a brand new car, throw your motor in it, and come in third. That's pretty impressive to me.
Well, like you told me Saturday, that's keeping good notes of your stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's very impressive. It was great to see Barry win too.
That's what a lot of racing is keeping track of what kind of setup you have in it and what's working for you, and what you do to the cars. So taking notes is pretty important. As far as the modifieds go, to me it's nice to see somebody else besides Chris Brink win.
Oh man,
it was like 7 or 8 weeks in a row of just seeing him come from behind and beat everybody and beat them very, very much. Like, it's I still can't believe that they haven't found anything with his car, but props to him, I guess, for having it set up and to drive it that well. But it's nice to see somebody else win.
Yeah, it was. I did kind of feel bad for Justin in the Chargers. Went out for his heat race, ran out of gas. Then he goes out for his feature, and something happened in the fuel line. He was getting no fuel feed to the engine.
Yeah, our friend Justin Frampton is handicapped and in a wheelchair, and he went out and decided he wanted to race this year, and they ended up getting him a car and getting him in it, and he's been doing great. And he had some issues this week, like Edzo said, with the car, and I did see today that he went out and bought a new alternator to see if he was having some battery issues on Saturday as well. So hopefully he can get that fixed. As far as the street stocks goes, that was just a good race. I mean, I don't really have anything to say about that one. It was just a good, clean race. I don't even know if there were any wrecks or anything in that one.
Kostelnik did spin, but that's come to be standard. And Angie also had a spin on her own.
Oh yeah, that's right, Angie. Angie's driving. She's driving the car for who's she driving for?
Lauren Bittner? No.
Lauren Butler. Yeah.
Lauren Butler. I'm sorry, Lauren.
But yeah, so then we get to our class, the Fast and Furious Fours. We're in the pits for Casey Flegel, so it was a great win for us this week.
Much needed.
Much needed. He's Casey's leading the points, and we had a rough week last week after getting wrecked, and so it's nice to get those points for winning both the heat race and the feature. And it was a good overall race. Good clean racing this week. Nothing trashy like the past couple weeks has been. So
yeah,
I think it was just a good overall week at Jennerstown. I mean, it's good racing. Crowd was good. I think everybody enjoyed themselves.
All right. Speaking of season points, let's get into that here. We'll start with, once again, the late models. You got Barry Audi leading the points by 22 points over Matt Sever, last year's champion. And he also has a 30-point lead over Jeremiah Kuntz and a 32-point lead over Gary Wilchow. That can diminish very quickly. I mean, he at one point this year had almost a 45-point lead. So, I mean, it's all about consistency with these weekly racing series. In the modifieds, Zane Farrell, who won this week, got his first win, has been leading the points pretty much all year. Chris Brink is in second, which we still haven't figured out how he's not leading the points, unless maybe he just wasn't there the first 3 or 4 weeks. Tom Golick, the ageless wonder, in third, who is 67 points out, so he's almost, with 4 weeks remaining, mathematically eliminated from the points championship. Go down to the street stocks. Sean Beam is your leader, with Andrew Kostelnik in second, and Aaron Vanderfelt in third. He had a lot of problems last week. 91 points out. He is mathematically eliminated for the year. So right now it's a two-man race with a 6-point differential between Sean Beam and Andrew Kostelnik. Andrew, I will admit, is a hot shoe. The man can drive a car. If he gets his setup right, he's hard to beat. Sean, great, clean driver. Once again, very hard to beat if he gets out front. You come down to the 4 cylinders, like we said. Casey has a 66-point lead over Cindy Rhodes and a 76-point lead over Paul Koffler III. Adam, I did the math. Casey needs to finish in 7th the next 4 weeks. Even if Cindy wins everything, he still wins the points. But Cindy has been coming on hot lately, so we'll see how that goes there. Then in the Chargers, Steven Sheltman has a 50-point lead over Scott Mitchell and 82-point lead over rookie Tanner Friedline. That kid's impressed me all year. He doesn't quite have a shot at winning the championship unless something really goes wrong with Sheltman. I mean, Sheltman's been running away with it all year pretty much. Any thoughts on who you think could pull a upset in any of these points?
Go ahead, Justin.
I mean, the only one that looks like it's even competitive, and I think that's mostly just the lack of cars, is the late models. And the rest of them, I mean, just use your guys' division when it's interesting, and I guess kind of sad when someone misses half the season and has still made it to the top 10 points.
Well, let's not talk about him. We have anger issues with him.
Well, I mean, he's won 2 races, and he's done very well in all the heats and all the other races that he's been in. Plus, with the 4 cylinders, there's a lot of guys that, in the bottom half of the points that are there some weeks, not there other weeks. So there's a lot of ways to get up quickly into the top 10 in the points in the 4 cylinders.
Yeah. I mean, if you showed up for more than 5 weeks this year, you're guaranteed to be at least 8th. I mean, About half those guys raced, 1-2 races this year
Yeah.
and got wrecked. Or, Evan Nybert, he's about to have a baby, so he hasn't really been there this year.
Yeah. I think as far as the late models go, my pick for winning it, I think Barry's going to win it this year. I have to pick Barry. I've been going to Jennerstown since I was a baby, and that's who my family has always rooted for. So that's who I've always rooted for. So that's who I'm going to have to pick. I think Sever has a good shot at beating Barry, but I think Barry's going to be able to pull it out. After seeing what he did this week with his car, I think Barry will pull it out over Sever. As far as modifieds go, I think Brink's going to take it. After seeing how he dominated the past 7 or 8 weeks of winning every single week in a row, again, like you said earlier, I don't know how he's not already in the lead, but it's coming. As far as the street stocks go, like you said, it's definitely a two-man race right now between Sean Beam and Andrew Kostelnik. My pick would be Sean Beam. His cars look dominant all year. He only had that issue 1 week where he got out to work on his car on the track and got black flags, so that kind of hurt him a little bit.
We are missing Lauren there because, she was right up there with him all year until
Yeah,
she got hurt.
if Lauren wouldn't have got hurt outside of racing and she would still be in her car, I would have put her right up there too. But, since she's not there anymore, I'm definitely going to go with Sean. Fast fours, not to be the homer because we're on his team, but I think Casey pretty much has it locked up. He's such a great driver, and he knows how to handle that car that he has well. And Sandy has been coming on the past couple weeks. She's made some very good improvements to her car. I just don't see her winning everything for the next 4 weeks. Same with Koffler. Koffler's solid every single week, but I just don't see him being able to win everything, and Casey not finished in the top 7th like you said. And finally with the Chargers, I think Sheltman will end up taking that one. And like you said, I really would like to see Tanner, take that. Tanner's done phenomenal this year. It's just, I think he's a little bit too far behind with only 4 weeks to go.
All right, yeah. While we're at this, since we know the few rookies that there are, Angie Kimberly, Tanner Friedline, Justin Frampton, who do you think, Barclay, who do you think deserves the Rookie of the Year title?
I would go with Tanner Friedline. He's, like I said, he's impressed me all year. Obviously, being a rookie, it's his first year. I don't know if has he raced anywhere else or done anything else that you know of?
No, this was it. He didn't even run go-karts.
So that's even more impressive to me. And I know he's won at least one race, one feature, 2 features.
He has 2, yeah.
So all right. So winning 2 features, that's impressive for your first year out, and being in 3rd place. The whole class is kind of small, but still being in 3rd place as a rookie, winning 2 races, and he's looked good every single race he's been in, and he's gotten into a couple accidents which really weren't his fault. It's just kind of bad timing. So
wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, wrong place, wrong time. So Tanner Friedline would be my pick.
Justin, you got a pick on Rookie of the Year there, bud?
I have to agree with that. I'm just looking at the standings. He's the closest to actually having a chance to win. Pritz is right there too, but...
Well, that's right. I didn't assume Pritz is a rookie. I'm sorry. I'm so used to thinking of Pritz running the enduro races all the time that I didn't think of him as a rookie.
To me, out of the 2, I still think Friedline has looked way better than Pritz has. Not to say anything. I'm not saying anything bad about Prince. He's in 4th place, right behind Tanner. Tanner has 82 points behind, and Pritz is 83 points behind. So they're neck and neck. But I don't know. Just Tanner's looked looked way better to me than Pritz has.
And like we said, with them couple wrecks, Fritz got the better finish. That's why they are so close.
And to Pritz's credit, he's had a couple car issues a couple weeks, that held him out too. So
yeah, losing a whole crank a whole crank the one day. So yeah, he had some definite issues.
yeah.
Like I said, I would vote for Tanner, but I would look bad if I didn't say Justin, because he has improved tremendously. I mean, his first race out there, you probably could have rode a bike past him, but now he's doing what he can to compete. So it's a toss-up between Tanner and Justin, and I got to give Tanner all the credit in the world. Him and Justin were on the front row, and everyone in that class gave Justin a chance to lead a lap in the feature. And being that I'm related to Justin, that almost put a tear in my eye, and you guys can vouch for me, I'm not a very emotional person.
I mean, that everything that everybody's done for Justin is phenomenal. From Jennerstown to Larry Heminger to everybody, everything that they've done, like I said, is phenomenal. And he really has come a long way from his first week. Unfortunately, he had some issues this past week, but he's given it his all, and that's awesome. That's it's a hero to me. That's somebody to look up to. That he's paralyzed, but he doesn't let anything hold him back, and that's something that we all need to look at and do in our own lives.
Yeah. Well, and the point to make it that he wants to be there and be a good driver. When anything went wrong, he gets mad, and he wants to get back out there. That just shows his heart to the sport and willingness to want to get better. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, I mean, we saw him get frustrated this week, and to me, that showed me that he really is a race car driver, because his car gave him issues, and he was pissed off about it, and that's what race car drivers do. He wanted to be out there driving his car, and he couldn't.
To have that video of the bird that says when my car breaks down.
Yeah, we do have 5 divisions racing on Saturday. We also have the Enduro, which our gracious host Jason might be running in. So everybody try to come out to Jennerstown.
If we can get the motor running again. Kind of blew it up last time. Justin, any other topics you'd like to talk about?
We're running a little bit long, but we will touch on the international event that's going on right now. It's the Olympics that are in Rio. On the U.S. side, a couple upsets. I think the biggest being both the Williams sisters. Venus went out in the first round, Serena in the third, and they lost as the doubles team in the first round as well. Venus, however, did get a silver medal for the mixed doubles in tennis.
Which another American team won gold, so we're good there.
Yes. The other upset, and I think this will be more up Adam's alley to talk about, is the U.S. women's soccer team, favorites for gold, went out in the quarterfinals in penalty kits to Sweden.
Yeah, you said you thought the Williams sisters losing was the biggest upset. I think this is the biggest upset so far. When you're slated to be the gold medalist and you're coming off of a World Cup victory, it's a huge loss. This is the earliest that they've ever gone out of a Olympics. They've had some major turnover after the World Cup. They lost some of their couple older players, some of their veterans, and I think that kind of showed through. They lost some of their leadership, and I think that's what ended up hurting them in the end, was that leadership.
I can't vouch for you guys because growing up wrestling, I was in these bracket tournaments. it doesn't matter what's predicted of you. Anybody can beat anybody in that round. It doesn't matter. I've upset some former state champions before. It is what it is. I mean, brackets are a beast, and they are meant to be hard.
Another thing on soccer I want to talk about, hopefully you can touch more on this, on women's soccer anyways. Adam, when Miss Solo is done, who's going to be their goalie?
That's a good question. I, off the top of my head, don't know. She's been there so long that I don't even know the name of their backup, just because she's been so steady and she pretty much never gets hurt. So, yeah, that's a good question. We might have to revisit that topic at a later time.
Well, I can understand steady, but she gave up a real soft goal in that game too.
I mean, from watching on your couch, it looks soft. From being in her shoes before, standing behind a wall of people, it's not that soft. When that girl taking that kick, curve that ball around that wall, you got a split second to make a move, seeing that ball come around that person's legs. I mean, it's tough.
It did 5-hole pretty good.
I mean, yeah, she had her hands down there, so she really should have stopped it. But again, she had a split second to make that after it came around that last person in the wall. So I can't knock her too bad.
Let's ask the resident goalie. What do you think?
Playing goalie in hockey is a completely different animal in soccer. I mean, I played a year in soccer, playing goal. I mean, a lot of times, as you can see in the county kicks, you have to guess where it's going. And a couple times in the penalty kicks, she guessed wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm our resident soccer expert, and I played goal my senior year, and penalty kicks aren't fun. You pretty much stand no chance as a goalie. It's literally a guess. The only way you can see where they're going to kick is where their plant foot points where they're going to kick, but you literally have no time to see where that's planted to when they kick, so you can't react to that. So you literally have to guess. So, like I said, I can't knock her too bad. Really, the more frustrating thing to me as a soccer player is they should have scored more goals than that. They're a better offensive team than that.
On that note, we'll get to some sports that USA is continuing their dominance at. The women's gymnastics, they won gold for the all-around. If you look on our Facebook page, you'll see all the different medals that the individuals won the last couple of days. With swimming, Phelps went out on top. They won gold in the 4x100 medley. He ends his Olympic career with 23 golds, 3 silver, and 2 bronze over a span of 5 Olympics.
And that's impressive to me. That number is a little bit inflated just because swimming, they do have so many events compared to some of the others. But man, talk about being dominant in your sport.
Especially at the butterfly. He was the king of the butterfly.
Yeah.
So if this is truly it, Michael Phelps, congratulations, buddy. I thought you had an amazing run.
I definitely agree with that.
One other thing on Olympic swimming, Miss Ledecky, another Maryland athlete with Phelps, not only won the 1,200 meter freestyle, she set the new record, and she won by 12 seconds.
Well, as I saw in the trial, everybody else is swimming for second place with her. I mean, she's just out there so quick, and her pace is so insanely fast. And she doesn't seem to tire, ever. She doesn't even look out of breath when she gets out of the pool.
I can see her being the female version of Michael Phelps.
Very quickly.
The other note I have for the Olympics right now is with beach volleyball, the team of Walsh, Jennings, and Ross, as of today, have made it into the semifinals. We don't know who their opponent's going to be quite yet, but they're going to be another favorites for gold, most likely. And most likely for both of them will probably be their final Olympics as well.
We do have to pull out one congratulations to Great Britain for taking the first gold in golf in 102 years, followed by a silver for Sweden and a bronze for the USA. So, good job, boys. Great rounds of golf all around there. I got to watch some of it. It was nice to see.
No, I think that just about wraps up our podcast.
You can follow the podcast on Twitter at Mace Dix Sports Pod. You can also find it on Facebook. Just search for Mason Dixon Sports Podcast. You can also email us at masondixonsportspodcast@gmail.com.
And for that being said, gentlemen, great show. And we will see you guys next week. For the Mason Dixon Sports Podcast, I'm Jason.
Adam.
And Justin.
Y'all have a good week.